Hello friends, in this video tutorial, let us see how to configure Windows failover clusters for always on groups. So for this, let us go to our virtual machines. Now this is our first virtual machine, which is DC, in which we have a shared folder. Okay. So now let us see the properties for this shared folder. Okay, so this is the path at which it is shared, and it is having full permissions. Now inside this share folder, there is another share folder called witness. For this witness share folder also, we have given full permissions. So this is our DC server. In this DC server, we'll also be using the domain that has been created on it, that is mi.local. And this is the administrator user inside mi.local which we will use. So this is the domain user that we will use, that is administrator inside mi.local domain. Now this is the name of the DC server. We can see that for DC server, the IP range is 20.0.0.1. Okay, this is the IP. So we will provide the same IP range for the other two servers. Now for server 1, this is the name. So let us change the name. Let us call our server 1 as node 1. Similarly, let us change the name for second server. Let us call it as node 2. So node 1 and node 2 are the servers that we will use for configuring the failover cluster. So they will be failover partner for each other, these two servers, that is server 1 and server 2. And we have given the names as node 1 and node 2 to these servers. So let it restart. As we have changed the names, both the servers are restarting. Let us increase the RAM from 2 GB to 4 GB for both the servers. Okay, so let us start with the first one. So now the memory shown is 4 GB. So for the second server also, we are changing the memory from 2 GB to 4 GB. Now for the DC server, we will keep the memory as 2 GB. This is because on server 1 and 2, that is node 1 and 2, we will configure SQL server in future. Okay, so we will require more memory over there, whereas in DC server 2 GB is fine. So now we are logging in both the servers with the administrator username for the local machine. So now for server 1, node 1 is shown as the computer name. And it is still in work group. Okay, so we'll have to take it into domain after changing the IP. So let us go and change the IP address for node 1 computer, that is server 1. Let us bring that computer in the 20 range. Okay. So let us provide the IP address as 20.0.0.2. And DNS server is 20.0.0.1. Similarly for server 2, let us go and change the IP address. Okay, so let us give the IP address as 20.0.0.3. DNS in this case also will be 20.0.0.1, right? Okay, so now we have configured IP address for both the servers. So now we are ready to take both the servers into domain. So let us click on work group, change, and let us provide the domain. We will require the username and password for the domain. So we'll put the administrator username and password for MI domain. So once we specify domain for this server, it will restart. So let us do the same for the second server, that is, let us bring this second server also into domain. Okay, mi.local domain, by providing the administrator username and password for mi domain. So let us wait till the time the server comes up. Okay, it is restarting, right? So let it come up. It will take some time to restart. Now we will log in with the administrator of mi domain. Okay, so we'll go to other user, and over here we'll put mi/administrator user and provide the password for this user. So we have logged in with the administrator of mi domain on server 1. Okay, that is on node 1. Similarly, for server 2 also, let us go to other user and log in with the administrator user of mi domain. Now this should change to mi.local. Okay, so now domain is mi.local, and on server 1 also the domain is mi.local. So now let us add the role of failover cluster. Okay, so let us add the role. So the role that we are adding is failover clustering, and this we are adding on the first server. We'll have to add the same role on the second server also. So let us click install. Until the time this gets installed, let us go to server 2. Let us add the same role over here, that is failover cluster. Now let us maximize this screen. Okay, so now the screen has been maximized. So now let us go to dashboard and add roles and features. Let us add the failover clustering feature for this particular server also. Okay, so let us click this one. Okay, so now we are adding failover clustering feature to this particular second server also. And let us click install. So now as the role has been added, we have gone to tools and we have started the failover cluster manager. Similarly for server, the second server, that is server 2 also, let us do the same. So for server 2, let us wait till the time this gets installed. That is, let the clustering feature get installed. So we are starting failover cluster manager on the second server also. Okay, so this is the screen that will come. So let us go to server 1. Over here, let us create the cluster. For that, we will have to validate the configurations. So what we will be doing in this step, we will be checking whether both this server 1 and server 2 are having exactly the same configuration or not. If yes, then only we can create the failover cluster. So over here, we will have to provide the name of the two servers, that is node 1 and node 2. So for this, let us go to browse, let us provide name as name node 1 and also let us add node 2. Okay, let us click OK. So now it will show both the servers node 1 and node 2, okay, as the selected servers for which the failover clustering will be done. Okay, click next. Now this will validate whether both the servers, that is node 1 and node 2, are having compatible configurations or not in order to form the failover clustering. So let it complete the test. Okay, so now the validation report is okay. So now we can go ahead with the creation of the cluster. So it will start the create cluster wizard. We'll have to provide the name of the cluster, and also we'll have to provide the IP address at which the cluster will be available. Okay, so let us provide 51 as the IP address on which the cluster service will be available. Okay, so we'll want the clients to connect to 51 IP. Okay, so that either of the servers can serve the request. So now it is creating the cluster, and the creation of cluster has completed successfully. And now if we go and see, then the cluster has been created. Okay, and it is having 2 nodes and both are up and running. Now let us go and configure the Quorum settings. Okay, let's go and again set the Quorum settings, and this time let us provide a witness, file witness. Okay, file share witness. So we'll have to provide a path of the shared folder. Okay, so on DC server we have already created the share folder, so we'll provide the path of that particular share folder. So let us provide the name of the DC server. Okay, so these are the shared folders. So let us select the witness server. So this is the path that we have provided for the shared folder up to witness folder. And let us click finish. So now the file witness is also available. So in this way, the complete cluster that can be used for SQL Server always on groups has been created. So I hope friends this video tutorial is useful to you. Thank you.